Previously, in Dark Whispers, Scheherazade ended one tale of magic and sorrow, leaving the king restless yet eager for more. But as dawn threatened to silence her voice, she promised another story, one of invention, desire, and destiny. And so, the night begins again. You're listening to Dark Whispers, the tales of Scheherazade, where every night unveils a world of mystery and wonder. Shehrazade's voice wove through the quiet chamber as the king leaned forward. "Once, O king," she said softly, "in a distant land of great wealth and wisdom, there lived a ruler who possessed many marvelous gardens that stretched for miles, palaces inlaid with gold, and treasures beyond measure. Yet, among all his wonders, none was so strange, so powerful, as the gift brought to him one fateful day: the ebony horse." The tale begins in the royal court of the king of Persia. On his birthday, noblemen and wise men came from far and wide, each presenting a rare gift: jewels, silks, enchanted weapons. Yet one stood apart. A mysterious craftsman, dressed in simple garments, stepped forward. In his hands, he guided a horse unlike any other, not of flesh and blood, but carved from black ebony wood, polished until it gleamed like midnight. Its eyes sparkled with gems, and its form was lifelike, almost breathing. The king raised an eyebrow. "A toy," he scoffed. The craftsman bowed. "Not a toy, my lord, but a steed that can carry its rider beyond the clouds, swifter than the wind, across the world in a single night." The court erupted in laughter, but the craftsman remained calm. "Choose a rider," he said, "and let the horse prove itself." The king's son, Prince Kamar al-Akmar, stepped forward eagerly, bold and adventurous. He longed for wonders. Mounting the ebony horse, he found a hidden lever within its mane. At once, the horse rose into the sky, soaring higher and faster than any bird. The prince gasped, clinging tightly as the palace shrank below. The earth spread out like a tapestry. The wind whipped against him. Stars glittered near at hand, and the prince's heart thundered with exhilaration. But in his wonder, he forgot to ask how to control the horse's descent. The creature soared endlessly, carrying him away from Persia, past deserts, oceans, and mountains, till he was lost. Night fell as the ebony horse glided through the heavens. The prince, though frightened, felt a wild thrill. The stars above seemed close enough to touch. But soon, weariness struck, and fear of never returning gnawed at him. Finally, by instinct, he discovered a second hidden level one that brought the horse down. Slowly, cautiously, it descended until it landed in a distant land. He found himself in the gardens of a magnificent palace, silver fountains glimmering in moonlight. From its balconies, music drifted, soft and enchanting. The prince, exhausted yet curious, wandered inside. There, he encountered a vision of beauty, a princess, radiant as the dawn, seated among handmaidens. Her eyes, dark as night, fell upon him in surprise. She demanded, "Who are you, stranger, to intrude upon my father's palace?" The prince bowed, his voice steady. "A traveler, carried here by fate." Though cautious, the princess felt drawn to him. His noble bearing, his courage, his story of the flying horse, it seemed a tale from dreams. That night, they spoke long under the stars, and affection sparked between them. But not all welcomed the stranger. The princess's father, the king of that land, discovered his presence. At first, he doubted the prince's words. A flying horse? Impossible. Yet, when the ebony horse was shown, and the king saw it rise into the air with his own eyes, greed filled his heart. He desired the horse for himself. "You shall have my daughter's hand," the king said smoothly to the prince. "But first, leave the horse with me as proof of your love." The prince hesitated. He trusted no one else with the steed, for it was both wondrous and dangerous. Still, for love of the princess, he agreed to a bargain. But that very night, a jealous vizier envious of the prince's sudden favor schemed. He convinced the king that the stranger sought only to deceive them, to steal away the princess. Together, they plotted to imprison the prince and seize the horse. At dawn, guards stormed his chambers. The prince fought bravely, but was overpowered. The princess wept as he was dragged away, thrown into a dungeon deep beneath the palace. The ebony horse, locked away in the royal stables, stood silently, awaiting its true master. Days turned into weeks. The prince languished in darkness, dreaming only of the princess's face. Yet fate had not abandoned him. The princess, bold and clever, risked everything. At night, she descended into the dungeon, carrying the key to his chains. "My love," she whispered, "take the horse and flee. I will follow, no matter the cost." With trembling hands, she freed him. Together they crept to the stables. The ebony horse gleamed in the torchlight, as though waiting for this moment. They mounted, the prince pulling the lever. With a rush of wind, the horse soared upward, breaking free of the palace, higher and higher into the night sky. The shouts of guards echoed faintly below, but soon faded. The princess clung to him as they flew among the stars, hearts pounding in unison. But just as freedom seemed certain, a storm gathered. Dark clouds roared, winds howled. The ebony horse was powerful, yet the storm tossed them wildly. Lightning split the heavens as the horse hurtled out of control, carrying them into unknown lands once again. They landed in a strange kingdom, ruled by a tyrant king who delighted in cruelty. Soldiers seized him at once. Intrigued by the marvelous horse, the tyrant demanded, "Teach me the secret of this steed, or you shall both suffer." The prince refused, though beaten and chained. The princess wept, yet her resolve did not break. Night after night, they were questioned, threatened, tempted with riches, or tormented with fear. Still, the prince guarded the secret levers hidden within the ebony horse. Yet, even in despair, love sustained them. In whispered moments behind prison walls, they promised never to yield, never to let their bond be broken. But fate, ever cruel, would soon test them beyond measure. As Scheherazade's words lingered, the king's eyes gleamed with fascination. The storyteller's voice fell to a hush. And thus, O king, the prince and princess were bound in chains. Their fate uncertain, their wondrous steed in the hands of a tyrant who hungered for its power. Would they escape? Would their love defy the cruelty of men and the wrath of storms? God, my lord, is a secret yet to be revealed. If the dawn does not claim my tongue first. The king, caught between anger and desire for more, leaned closer, unwilling to let the night end. Don't miss the continuation of this tale, only on Dark Whispers.